The story begins in the green, rolling hills of Tennessee. It starts with a quiet road and a terrible silence. It was a Tuesday in June. The day started with the ordinary sounds of a family and ended with a silence that has not been broken. 5-year-old Summer Wells was last seen outside her home. She vanished. Just like that. The earth seemed to open and swallow her whole. What followed was a frantic time of searching. The community came together. Police and federal agents filled the small neighborhood. Flyers with Summer's smiling face went up on every post and store window. Everyone waited for news. They hoped to hear she had been found, maybe just lost in the dense woods that surrounded the homes. But that news never came. Days turned into weeks. Weeks became months. The bright light of national attention slowly moved away. But in the local community, and in the hearts of people online, the case never grew cold. It stayed alive, a constant, painful question. The official investigation grew quiet, but the whispers only grew louder. People asked questions about the last hours before she disappeared. They wondered about the family and the strange landscape. How could a little girl disappear without a single trace? Then, more than 4 years later, something happened. On a cold November day, a line of police vehicles turned onto a remote road. They went to a large property, many miles from where Summer was last seen. This was not a public search. This was a secret, official dig. The public did not know it was happening. There were no news cameras. There was only silence. People only learned about it days later from a short news release. The property was very big, 27 acres of land. It was owned by a man named Paul Hill. He was known as a good member of the community. He had no criminal past. But his name was important. Hill. Paul Hill was the uncle of 2 men who lived on the same road as Summer Wells when she disappeared. This connection sparked immediate speculation online. People wanted to know why the police were there. Why now? What did the FBI know that they were not telling anyone? The official statement was very short. It said the search was part of the ongoing investigation. That was all. No details. No hints about what they were looking for. 27 acres is a huge amount of land to search. Were they looking for a body? For clothes? For something buried long ago? The silence from the police was loud. But on the internet, theories grew to fill the quiet space. For people who follow missing persons cases, this secret search felt familiar. It was like a page from another Tennessee tragedy, one that happened 20 years earlier. That story was about a girl named Tabitha. She was 13 years old. One morning in April, she left her home to walk to the school bus. She never made it. Like Summer, she vanished into thin air. For 17 years, her case was unsolved. Then, one day in 2020, police descended on a remote farm. They brought digging machines. They sifted dirt for days. The property belonged to a man who had long been a person of interest. The news cameras filmed it all. The public watched and hoped. And they found nothing. Tabitha is still missing. The reward for her case is still offered. The similarity is chilling. 2 girls years apart. 2 sudden searches on remote land connected to people the police were interested in. In the first case, it led nowhere. The question now hangs in the air. Is the same thing happening now? Has the FBI followed a strong clue in Summer's case, only to find another dead end? But there is a difference between the cases that people notice. The FBI keeps a visible page and a permanent reward for Tabitha. For Summer Wells, there is no such page on the official website. The reward for her had a time limit, and is now gone. People ask why. Why is there a difference? What does it mean? Is it about the evidence, or is it about something else? In any story like this, people look at the family. They watch how they act. They listen to what they say and do not say. Every reaction is watched closely. Since the search on the remote property, Summer's parents have been very quiet. They have not spoken about the police digging miles from their old home. To some people, this makes perfect sense. These parents have lived through a nightmare for over 4 years. Every new search is a new wound. These people ask for compassion. They urge others to leave the family alone with their pain. But others remember different things. They remember a time earlier in the investigation when Summer's father was seen tearing down missing person posters of his own daughter. He said he was upset and in pain. But the image was hard to forget. A father destroying the signs asking for help to find his child. Now, with this new search focused on the Hill property, those old questions come back. Why tear down the posters? What feeling, beyond sadness, could cause that? And now, their silence feels heavy. Is it the silence of people who are grieving? Or is it the silence of people who know something? Are they afraid? Or are they, like everyone else, just waiting for a phone call that will change everything? The debate is strong online. One side defends the family as victims. The other side watches them with doubt. The discussion fills comment sections and social media, creating two very different stories. The investigation today is full of questions without answers. Each one is more haunting than the last. What was the clue that led the FBI to that exact piece of land? It must have been strong for them to dig in secret. Was it a message from someone? Was it a piece of scientific evidence? Was it an old story that finally came to light? The search was announced on a certain date, but it started earlier. How long did they actually dig? 27 acres is so much land. Could they have searched all of it? Or did they have one specific spot in mind? Have they finished, or will they go back? Paul Hill is not called a suspect. But his land is of interest. What is the real connection between the Hill family members on Summers Road and this uncle's faraway property? Was it a place they knew well? Was it a hiding place? After the search, the police said nothing. This is normal for Tennessee investigations. But when there is no information, rumors grow. Online, people claim to have sources. They say there have been new, intense interviews. Are these stories true? Or are they just the wishes of people who want answers? The biggest question remains. If Summer is found on that land, how did she get there? A 5-year-old child does not walk 10 miles by herself over rough land without anyone seeing her. If she is there, it means something terrible happened. It means someone took her and tried to hide what they did. The case is now in its most tense stage. The police have shown they are working on a major clue. But they have not shown what they have found. Every day that passes without news feeds two powerful feelings. Hope that the police are building a careful case. Dread that they will leave with nothing, just disturbed ground and a deeper mystery. Recently, a new ripple has moved through the online circles that follow the case. It is only a rumor. There is no proof. But the rumor says that items were quietly moved from a local office to the main state lab. The items are described as sensitive. The source of the rumor is unknown. The details are vague. But after the secret dig, even a rumor is powerful. Could it be true? Could the silent search have found something? A piece of cloth? A shoe? Something that tells a story? When asked, official sources give no comment. They say they cannot talk about an active case. The rumor changes the feeling of waiting. It makes it more urgent. It asks a new, powerful question. Is everything about to change for Summer's family? Is the next phone call the one that brings a terrible answer, or the one that ends this hope forever? The woods keep their secret. The house where Summer lived stands quiet. The distant property now has the marks of an investigation's deepest effort. And a little girl's face still smiles from an old poster, a smile from a time before the silence fell. The public watches and waits. The police work in silence. A family lives in a limbo no one can understand. This story is still being written. It is written in sealed documents and scientific tests. It is written in the enduring hope of a community that remembers Summer Wells. What was found on that remote property? What do her parents truly believe? Who will finally be responsible for the disappearance of a 5-year-old girl? The questions keep coming. The answers are still out there, somewhere in the Tennessee hills.